Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is your girl Nyambura. I am back, and today I'm very excited to talk about yet another amazing story that has been so impactful in my life. Now, today I want to borrow a story from the book called the Bible. And let me just say, these lessons are not just for people who subscribe to the faith of Christianity. These are lessons that every one of us can be able to apply. So really, this is not a religious conversation, but I love the Bible. It's one of those amazing books that have such life-impacting lessons. Now, the lesson I want to talk about today is about digging your ditches. And I know you must be asking, who dig what? Dig ditches? Who digs ditches? I mean, like, you must be thinking, wait a minute, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, I have a PhD, or I have all these international certifications in whatever areas of your specialization, and I'm talking to you about digging ditches. Who digs ditches? Ditches are dug by people who do manual work. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about digging ditches because everything you do in life, every day you wake up and go to your job, you go to your business, you go to entrepreneurship, you simply are digging ditches. And there's some important things you need to know that can guide you and help you as you go along digging your ditches. Okay? So let me share this story, and I'll try to be very brief. A story is found in the Bible, in the books of 2 Kings, chapter 3. And this is a story about some 3 kings who are going into war, and they were going to fight another nation. Now, when they're in the desert, 7 days into the desert, they find themselves in a place where there is absolutely no water. So you can imagine, I try to imagine men, kings, and their army men, and their animals, and they are going to war. So they have so many people who are thirsty. They have animals which are making noise. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They need water, and the kings have no solution. So anyway, the kings decide to consult the man of God or the prophet or who was in that land. When they went to this prophet had a very interesting way of answering people's questions and needs and concerns. This is what the prophet tells them. He says, go and fill the desert with ditches. Can you imagine that? I mean, these are 3 kings. Like, who tells a king that? I mean, I thought he was supposed to wave a word and voila, there was water or there was rain. I mean, that's what I would have expected. But no, he tells them, go back to that desert and dig ditches and fill the desert with ditches. But what he says immediately after that is what really shocks me. He tells them, as sure as the Lord lives, you will not see rain, and neither will you see wind. But tomorrow, at this hour, all the ditches that you're going to dig will be filled with water. And the true story is, the following day, miracles happened and water came from one of the countries and it flooded the desert and it filled their ditches. And they had enough water for themselves, for their animals, and therefore their army men, and they continued on their journey and they were able to succeed. Now, I want to add another story that again is found in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4, the immediate chapter after this story I've talked about. That story is so closely related to this because it says it was about a woman whose husband had just died. And this husband had taken on a lot of debts. And as you know, the culture of those people of those days is that if you owed somebody a debt, they had a right to enslave you. They could come for you or for your children and enslave you to work for them until the debt is fully paid. So this woman had 2 sons. Her husband has died and they're full of debts. And she's so stressed out. So she goes back to the same prophet and she tells the prophet her story. And the prophet listens and tells her. He asks her, what do you have? I mean, the woman says, honestly, I only have some little oil, some little drops of oil, little like this. And the prophet tells her, go and borrow jars and borrow as many. Can you imagine? You're thinking, oh my God, my creditors are coming. They are on my back. I am so out. My husband has just died. We have nothing left. We are looking to die. And you're telling me to go and borrow jars, and you're telling me to go borrow as many. Just listen to how this prophet answers. He tells you what to do, and then he adds something that makes you think, wait a minute, How do I do that? Anyway, the story goes, the woman went, called her children, and they went to the neighborhood and they borrowed as many jars as they possibly could. Then she came and told the prophet, I have borrowed the jars. The prophet told her, go and take the oil and fill the jars. So she comes, she's so excited, she takes the oil, the little oil, she starts to fill the jar. Jar one fills, she continues until the last jar. And then she tells the son, bring one more. And the son says, there is no more. And at that moment in time, the oil stops flowing. But she's so excited. She goes back and tells the prophet, oh, we filled all the jars. Then the prophet tells her, go and sell the oil, pay off your debt, and live on the rest. Now, those two stories are so closely related to each other in terms of the lesson they have. And for me, this is really a story of obedience. All right? These three kings could have looked at the prophet and said, duh, we're not going to do that. If you're not going to perform a miracle for us to have water, we ain't going to do that. But guess what? They obeyed, they went, mobilized their men, and they filled the desert with ditches. So when the rain came, they had sufficient water to see them through the whole trip and to help them win. When this woman was told to go and borrow jars, she had nothing. She had no reason to borrow jars. For what? She had nothing, and the creditors were on her back. But because she obeyed, guess what? The jars that she borrowed, all of them were filled with water. So the question I want to ask yourself is, how many ditches do you think these kings mobilized their men to dig? Suppose they had each dug one ditch. Guess what? When the water came, it only filled the one ditch each had dug. What about this? What if they had like sunk 1,000 plus ditches? It means when the water came, it filled the 1,000 plus ditches. Think about this woman. How many jars do you think she borrowed? 1, 5, 10, 20, 1,000? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, the jars that she borrowed got filled with oil. Her obedience dictated the value of the oil she got. Okay? Now, in life, many times we shall be tasked by God to dig ditches or to borrow jars when there is absolutely no reason for us to do that. Now, I am in the space of blockchain technology. I am in the space of entrepreneurship. I'm a trainer. And when I began my journey exactly a year ago, I prayed and I told God, God gave me that word and told me, Nyambura, your job is to go out there and dig ditches. And let me tell you, it is hard to dig a ditch in the desert. One, it's tough. The sun is scorching. There is nothing for you to show for the work you're doing. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a question of obedience. Will you choose to go and do the hard work when there is absolutely nothing, when you have nothing to show, when the money is not coming, when the customers are not coming, when nobody is paying attention to what you're saying, and you're busy out there in the sun, in the scorching sun, and you're digging ditches? Are you willing to go and dig your ditches? Are you willing to go and borrow your jars when the creditors are on your back, when everybody is threatening you, when the neighbors are looking at you wondering, you guys, can you please pay our debts? I mean, after all, your husband who is the breadwinner is no more. We need you to pay us. Will you pay attention to that? Or will you obey? Now, when you obey, let me tell you, none of us knows the hour. When the Lord decides, the day has come for the water to flow. The day has come for the oil to start running. But let me tell you, if you obey, if you dig your ditches, if you're willing to do the hard work, if you're willing to sweat it out, when nobody thinks what you're doing makes any sense, when opposition rises against you, when everybody is looking down on you and walking away from you and wondering what is wrong with you, keep digging your ditches, keep borrowing the jars, keep doing it, because when the hour comes, they will only marvel at what God will do. Most of the people who have made it in this life that we love to follow, that we love to listen to, they all have a story of digging their ditches when the sun was scorching. Now, King Solomon gives a very interesting lesson for all of us. And he says, you laggard, go to the ant and learn lessons from the ant. The ants, they stock up their food during summertime because they know the winter is coming. And the ants have no master. They have no ruler. They have nobody who stands there and tells them, it's a new day, wake up and work. No, they each know what they're supposed to do. And they do it meticulously. They have a meticulous planning. Nobody correlates with another because they took on your customer, because they took on your responsibility. Everybody knows what to do. Back to my story of digging ditches. I am in the field. I am a trainer. I know there is going to be a mass migration of people into the blockchain space, just the way people migrated into the internet when it came. And I know the people who are going to be digging the ditches right now, when there is nothing to show, when the sun is scorching, when the money is not coming, when the migration begins, the ditches will be filled, and everybody will get rewards for what they have prepared for. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our topic for today. Please be willing to dig your ditches. Don't look at your friend. Don't look at your neighbor. Don't pay attention to what they're saying. Just dig your ditches. Borrow your jars, because the day of the Lord is coming. Remember to subscribe, leave like this video, and most importantly, please share this video so that you can be able to reach out to as many people as possible. Because let me tell you, nobody takes responsibility for you. Nobody takes responsibility for your success. Don't wait to see the people who are working today succeed tomorrow, and then you're left thinking, how did they get there? You have a chance now. Start digging your ditches today. And when the hour comes, you will be grateful that you did it. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment, share, and like this video so that we can be able to build an equipped community, an empowered community. And just like is my custom, I would like to leave you with this small short story. Now, from one Jack Ma. We all know Jack Ma, don't we? Of course we do. Now, Jack Ma says this: today is tough. Tomorrow will even be tougher. But the day after, things are going to be great. The tragedy of humankind, the tragedy of most of us, is that we die tomorrow evening. Please don't die. Look forward to the brighter day, because it's coming. God bless you. I love you. This is your girl Nyambura. Like, follow, share, and subscribe so that we can build a community that is empowered. Bye.